Okay, this is a 5-gallon bucket that I bought at my local grocery store. I've also got what's called a Gamma Seal lid, which is basically a lid that snaps onto the top of the bucket, and then that middle part can unscrew. You could put a regular bucket lid on top of that. They're a little bit less expensive, but you won't be able to get in there and clean the bucket without ripping that lid off. So this lets you unscrew that lid very easily. You can get in there and clean it if you ever need to. Now, the next thing we're going to need to do, this is the top bucket. I have not put a Gamma Seal lid on this yet, but I will before the process is complete. The reason I haven't done it here is because I want to be able to have easy access inside the bucket to drill out 2 holes. You can see I've got 2 little holes marked down there in the bottom of the bucket. It came that way. I'm going to line those up with the cross members of the bottom lid, so when I drill the holes, they'll be exactly in the right spot and we'll be good to go. Here you can see I've drilled my first hole through the bottom of the bucket and the top of that lid. It's okay that it's a little bit off center, but to make sure everything lines up, I'm going to want to make sure that I keep that hole right in line. So I'm going to drop my other drill bit down there just as a placeholder. That'll keep the buckets all nice and lined up while I drill this other hole. There's the bottom of my filter bucket. You can see with the 2 holes drilled in it. Now off camera, I went ahead and put a green colored Gamma Seal lid on the top. You can use any color, but I decided on green because blue means clean water. Green means not clean water. It's not filtered yet. Black, on the other hand, would be garbage water, so feces and whatnot, things that you wouldn't want to drink or even use to water plants. So that's what I'm using my black lids for, and then other lids are for various types of food. Just a way to color code things. It really doesn't matter, but it helps you tell things apart. So looking inside, you'll see there are my 2 holes. The next thing we're going to do is put those filters down in the bottom. I'll go ahead and do one, and then I'll show you, and then we'll do the other one. Okay, you'll notice what I've done here is I took the 2 holes that I drilled through the top of the lid and the bottom of the other bucket at the same time, and I've widened them out. I've kind of made them a little more rectangular. The reason for that is this connection between the filter and the storage bucket don't have to be airtight. In fact, they really shouldn't be. If they are airtight, you're going to have a bit of a problem because nothing's going to filter down through, because you're going to have high pressure down here and it's not going to be able to go anywhere. So you want air to be able to come out between these 2 halves of the system. Also, you'll notice these little wings over here on the nuts, well, they kind of get in the way if it's just a round hole. I could have drilled holes down here in the recessed part of the lid. I considered doing that, but then I thought, you know, if I get any water or any buildup that gets on this lid that's not clean water, it's going to seek the lowest point, which are these recesses. So if I have any dirty water, I don't want that just automatically going down into my clean water reservoir, so I put them up here on the high part of the lid. I don't know if that's a good idea yet or not, but you know, that's a $7 lid, so if I need to do it differently and put the holes down here, I can always throw on another lid. Like I said before, these just simply screw on and off, and there's a rubber gasket in there sealing it to the ring, and then the ring has another gasket sealing it to the top of the bucket. So I can always do that if I need to, but we're going to try this out for now. At this point, the top bucket goes on. Be careful when you line all that up, and there you go. It sits really nice. You fill up the top of that bucket, and within half an hour, gravity is going to start feeding water through the filters into the bottom bucket. It is going to take a while to do. There's nothing here but gravity doing this and pushing all of the dirty water through these filters and getting clean water out the other side. So be very patient with this. If you need more water than what this can do, either put more filters in this bucket or just make another system. Really, The expensive part is the filters. So you're looking at about $12 to $15 for the bucket and the lid. You'll also need to get another spigot, which I haven't showed you how to install yet. We'll do that next. To put on the other bucket, and then you can have two systems to go with you wherever you want, or barter one if you need to, if it comes down to it. So we're going to set this aside, and we're going to look now at where to put the spigot. I'm going to hold the spigot up, and I'm just going to put it over here on the side, and I am going to elevate it off of the bottom, because I don't ever want this spigot to sit on the ground or to get any dirt or muck in it. So I figure putting it up about 2-3 inches above the bottom ought to be pretty good. So I'm just going to take one of my bits now, and I am going to scratch in a mark at the top, and that's where I'm going to drill my hole. So let me go do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, and now I've got that spigot installed. Really simple. It's just the threaded spigot with the gasket on the outside, a matching gasket on the inside, and then a nut on the inside to compress those two together. Now, before I do anything else, I'm going to go in and I'm going to rinse this bucket out, because I have some plastic shavings and whatnot in there. I'm going to get it nice and clean, and I'm going to make sure it's watertight before I do anything else. If it's not, I can tighten up that spigot a little bit more, make sure that it's not leaking in there, or I can get some aquarium adhesive or aquarium sealant and just make a nice thick bead all around the outside of that, which should bond relatively well. I'll probably want to scuff up the inside of the bucket just to make sure it has a good surface to adhere to. But I'm going to go ahead and take care of that, make sure everything is nice and tight, and then we'll get started filtering some water as a dry run, or a wet run as the case may be.